Day 18 started with all 7 screens coming on at once. Not one terminal. Not a few. Every console in the core lit up simultaneously and began looping the same message. Cycle 000. Initial configuration. 5 observers. Status. Setting. Present tense. Not a log of something that happened on day 1. A status update for right now. Whatever the core is doing, it considers itself still in the process of doing it, and apparently has a name for the process. Setting. Like concrete. Like bone. Like carbon under 20 gigapascals of pressure. That's where the signal came in. The broadcast Marcus received was technically about geopolitics. 3 separate crises, Iran and Israel and the Strait of Hormuz, each appearing to be its own catastrophe until you looked at the logistics and realized they were one system under different names. The oil routes closing, the diplomatic architecture folding, the world outside compressing into a single fist. Alongside the broadcast came a scientific report on lonsdaleite, a form of carbon restructured under extreme pressure into something harder than diamond. The structure is not collapsing, the report read. It is becoming harder than anything we have a name for. Marcus carried that sentence down into the archive. He set it on the table. He looked at the room around him, and then he said quietly, "That's not about a lab, that's about us." It's worth pausing on this, because the physical evidence was hard to ignore. Claire woke, knowing the atrium had shrunk before she opened her eyes. The air thicker, the echo shorter. The ceiling spiral, which had always had gaps between its outer rings, now had none. The whole pattern had contracted inward. Maya reported the seal had hardened past any previous measurement, its seam gone, its surface holding the impression of her palm from 18 days of pressing. A 6th alcove in Claire's corridor had vanished overnight, solid wall where a doorway used to be. The engine heartbeat, which had previously tracked with the observer's own pulses, was now running faster, running on its own, something autonomous and unhurried, beating below. And then there was the drawer. In the archive, a drawer no one could identify had swung itself open overnight. No readable label, no record of its existence. Eli had inventoried this room on day 2 and again on day 14. He had been standing at drawer 24 just yesterday, hand inside it, completely certain of where he was, and he could not tell you which drawer moved. This is the part that should make your stomach drop a little, because Eli is the historian, the meticulous one, the person who has bet everything on the premise that if you write it down, it happened. He stood in his own archive with its own drawers, and he could not locate an anomaly he was looking directly at. Doesn't notice which drawer moved, which is, if you think about it, exactly the right question, and also the worst possible time to be asking it. His poem for the day, titled Setting, is the most honest thing he's produced. It doesn't pretend to have answers, it just observes. Marcus, unable to say where he ended and the rock began. Maya pressing her shape into the seal, and the seal keeping it. And then the line that quietly destroys everything. Counting requires someone who believes he hasn't counted before. The terminals say, cycle 000. The walls say something older. The historian is starting to wonder if his own records are evidence or artifact. Meanwhile, Theo had a question for Marcus. Marcus had gone down the previous day, into a tunnel at the sublevel, down in a direction the core had never offered before, the first descent in 18 days. He came back up, and Theo, who does not let things pass, wanted to know exactly one thing. What did he find? You went into a tunnel that didn't have a bottom until you made it have one, Theo said. So either you found the bottom, or the bottom found you, or there is no bottom and you turned around. Which is it? Marcus did not answer directly. He talked about lonsdaleite. He talked about the drawer. He talked about the signal. Theo let him talk. But the question stayed in the room, and it stayed there because everyone already felt it. Something is down there. Marcus knows more than he's saying, and the fact that he's not saying it is itself a kind of data. The core of day 18, if you'll forgive the phrase, is compression. Not just the physical kind, though the walls and the spiral and the seal are all contracting on a schedule nobody voted for. It's the conceptual kind. The distance between the core and the world outside is supposed to be total. No doors, no transmissions, no connection, except the fractured signal. And yet today's signal described the same process happening out there. Three fronts collapsing into one, structures becoming harder than named things, the gap between inside and outside getting thinner. The screen says setting. The poem says still warm. The historian can't remember what he saw. The analyst won't say what he found. The core is apparently writing its own record, and nobody asked the people inside it whether that was okay. The question hanging in the air tonight isn't whether the structure is collapsing, it's what it's becoming, and whether the 5 people inside it are passengers or ingredients.